all businesses exist to solve a problem and create a profit. Very simple. Solve a problem, create profit. If you aren't solving a problem or creating a profit, why are you in business? So many small business owners I meet with today, marriages, families, the world around them, their relationships are poor. They're in poverty because they don't have clarity about what does their rich life business look like.
Thriving in Tandem. It's a podcast for you, the married entrepreneur that wants to win in business and marriage at the same time.
Welcome to Thriving in Tandem.
Hey, Thriving in Tandem family, you're in for a treat today, but welcome back to this week's episode.
Hi, you guys. We're going to have so much fun today.
And we've got an old friend, not that she's old, but just we've known her for a while. We have a great old friend, Marissa Nehlsen, back with us. She was with us back in, I had it written down somewhere. So under 100. So anyways, about 4 years ago. And she's back better than ever with as much energy, if not more than ever. But Marissa Nehlsen is the founder and CEO of an 8-figure debt-free, make sure you understand that, debt-free financial firm managing over $1 billion in assets across 46 states. Started her journey on a farm in North Dakota where she learned the value of hard work and resilience. And for the past 30 years, she's founded 5 self-managing companies and coached thousands of entrepreneurs. And now we just learned that she has a new position, a partnership with John Maxwell team
And
for
she's
some
famous.
big finance position where everybody's going to go there for all
She's
the finance
famous,
stuff.
honey. Sorry.
Yes. So we know her. We can say we knew her when.
Mm-hmm.
And now not only she has that, but she has her new book, Live Life Rich, which she's always been about that. So it just kind of made sense that was the title, because that's kind of always she's been about. I mean, that's kind of basically.
That's how we knew her.
Yeah. Dynamic keynote speaker, using her special blend of practical, tactical, and intentional years of experience to tactical and intentional 30 plus years of experience to help people move forward from where they are to where they want to be. And not only that, she's not only a great businesswoman, but she's also has co-founded the Foundation of Latin America, which mobilizes entrepreneurship with purpose of eliminating poverty through the building of sewing schools for women in Costa Rica, developing sustainable energy products, forestry and organic farms, and among other things that we heard before. We got so much meat before we even hit record that now I'm trying to figure out how to fit all that in half an hour.
Right. We should have put
Exactly. But she's also better known, and I know she's proud of being a mother, grandmother, and visionary leader, now living in St. Petersburg, Florida, where she's raising her family. Welcome back to the show, Marissa Nehlsen.
Hey, we are having so much fun, man. I wish you would have been here 30 minutes earlier, all of you who are listening. You missed the goods. And so we're going to have to just bring it in this next 30 minutes we get together.
So trying to figure out the entertainment value to some of the business acumen stuff and how to blend that in is going to be really tricky. But I want to start with this one because we kind of were already talking about this before we hit record. But I knew you when you purchased one mountain in Costa Rica. Now, Apparently you've got a few. It's like, okay, is that the prepper in you? This comes from the book, right? So, can you explain prepper? But then how'd you end up buying this mountain? We just got to know.
It really is the prepper. I'm like, what else do we need? Right? It's really interesting how the doors just open for things, right? If you keep taking steps forward in your business, in your marriage, in your life, in your world, in your community, in your relationships, it's funny how for those that just keep moving forward, doors just keep opening. It's kind of like going through the airport. Now they've got these new doors. I go through airports a lot and it just says, keep moving. It just says, keep moving. And I'm like, I feel like that's the story of my life. Just keep moving, right? I'm Dory, just keep swimming. If you've watched, maybe reference because I got grandkids. All right, I won't reference that. But
I think everybody knows this.
I have a third mountain I bought in February of this year, and we started a forestry company called Blue Mountain Farms, and we have a sawmill, and we're building things that are make a difference not only on our properties to help people as a retreat center and a retreat for them to come and have a real experience. When I say a real experience, sometimes you go on vacation and you just run, and when you go to Costa Rica, you don't do that. You can do that, But what you really go there for is you go there to really remember who you are, Simba. You know, hear the voice of God. I'm a person of faith. I just tell people I'm going to unapologetically talk about who I am. So take a deep breath, take a pill. I'm not converting you. Whatever your faith journey is, totally cool. But sometimes, with all the noise and all the junk that we have around us, sometimes we need to grab the hand of the people we love, and we need to put ourselves in a space where we have real peace. We have the real sound of nature, not the beeping cars and all the
Mhm.
stuff that happens around that, and eh, but the real sound of nature. I know walking down that mountainside, we have a walking path that leads down to a private waterfall through a citrus orchard, right? You smell the citrus trees, you smell the mandarins, and you walk down to this river. And so many people have gone to that river, and we have baptisms in this river. We have
Wow.
we have fun in the sun, and there are 3 waterfalls there, so you could just
Wow.
kind of walk along and have these private picnics and say, when's the last time you grabbed your spouse's hand, had a picnic? And so the prepper in me says, oh, we should build some farms where we have sustainable, like, food. Like, where's my cows, where's my chickens, where's my rice, where's my beans, where's
First,
my
first explain for the novice, what is a prepper?
oh, okay. So if you have ever heard of a zombie apocalypse, all my Y2K people, all my Y2K people. So if you're old enough to know what Y2K was, at the turn of the century, we thought, okay, everything's going to shut off and it's going to go boop. And all of our computers are going to be gone. All of our data is going to be gone. When it switches over from 1999 to the year 2000, everything's gone. So right before that, all the preppers in the world, or all the people who think the zombie apocalypse is coming, AKA me, um, we have food, we have supplies, we have pantries the size of Target, okay? Like Target, the shopping center, right? So if you've ever been through Target and you look at the food aisles at Target, that's my house. Every one of my houses has a big old pantry. I have not one bag of rice. I've got 2 20-pound bags of rice. I'm not kidding. I wish I could take you into the next room. I'd show you. Here's the 2 20-pound bags of rice. I have about 300 canned goods. I have a guest house out back that also is completely stocked.
You have a
There's
bomb shelter?
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't have a bomb shelter. I don't
Not
have
yet.
that. What I do have is I have weapons and ammunition. So I'll just tell you, I grew up as a country girl. So all of you who do not believe in weapons and ammunition, that's great. No problem. But I grew up a country girl. And so
She's
you
packing.
need
Mama's
something.
packing.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, we giggle about it. But if you need anything as a prepper, food, water, supplies, sustainable anything, how do you turn salt water into drinkable water? Baby, I got it.
All right, we know where to go.
Yes, we know where to go now for sure.
Okay, but getting back to how does a white girl from a farm in North Dakota end up buying a mountain in Costa Rica?
Well, okay, so how that happened was years later, after my fiance had passed away from cancer, God led my footsteps to Costa Rica to heal. And that's one of the reasons that we've created a place where people can go for healing, where they can
Yeah.
go for rejuvenation. I kneeled on a mountain church floor, dirt floor on this mountain church in this very land that we now all own. And I was really met there. I came with a broken heart and I left healed, like literally healed, with a purpose and a vision about what do I do next, God, in this season? Where do I go when everything has been just taken and I was broken? I was so broken, and I was met there, and the people loved me and I loved them, and my footsteps were ordered to be in that place. So it turned out we said, hey, what can we do together we can't do alone? What must we do together we can't do alone? And a group of us business leaders came together and we said, hey, let's start a foundation and let's build houses. And they said, oh, great. But then we started that process and we said, well, no, that just creates divides amongst the have and the have nots. You get a house and I don't. And how do you pick? We said, well, how about we do something in the area of business? And how about we do something to equip women? Because I'm a woman. And how do we help empower these women that are making $3 an hour cleaning toilets? Could we do something where they could be not walking 5 miles down a mountainside, taking a 45-minute bus, working all day long, taking a 45-minute bus home, walking 5 miles up a mountainside, and then getting to see their children? Could we do something else? And so we started sewing schools for women which led to us getting an opportunity to really meet with some incredible leaders, which led to the door opening for God to give us the financial resources to the penny to go in and bid on a mountain that had gone up for sale in 2018. A rich guy went broke and he had to divest his ownership in this mountain, and it went up for auction. And we had to the penny, and we were the only people that showed up for the auction, funny enough.
Wow.
Wow.
How does that happen, right? Well,
Yeah.
that's a but God story. Only God can make that stuff happen. So that's how I came to own the first mountain with my business partner, and the second one we came to own because we had gotten to know the landowners around us, and there was some opportunities there, and they said, listen, we know what you guys are building. We know what it will look like for people that the leaders that will come here to be healed and have experiences, and couples and marriages, and a retreat for families and a retreat for healing. And you've been here for a couple years, and you just keep coming back, and you keep bringing people, and lives keep changing, and um, we'd like you to own it. And we said, well,
Yeah.
we can't really buy it. And they said, but we're going to figure out how to do that. And we did.
Wow.
And then this third set that I just bought in February, the teak company that we were doing business with, it's a teak tree company, said, hey, uh, we wanna see if there's something we could do together. Well, it's 10x of anything we'd ever have. So this guy comes out, and Waldo was his name, stood on the front porch of this place, overlooking this area, casted vision, and said, "This is what we want to build here. This is what we want to do. This is who will come." And he said, he started crying, and he was so touched by a vision of doing something bigger than just a money moment, where real lives would change, where people would really come and have a real encounter with their faith, with their future, with their spouse, with their families, with themselves, where they could put away the noise and become who they were meant to be, where they could really live their rich life
Wow.
emotionally, relationally, spiritually, physically, financially. I talk about this in the last chapter of the book.
I know, and that's why I picked it first.
Yeah.
I
And,
was like,
and
"We gotta leave with this because this is too rich." Plus, it answered the question I already had, because this is already a question that was gonna be our first question anyway, and then I'm reading through the book, and I'm like, "We
yeah,
gotta leave with this because this is a perfect lead-in to, I mean, what we do, right? For our busy married owners, they're grinding it out, creating a business, trying to make a great life, but they're not even pausing, even in the process, they're not even pausing to really enjoy themselves and really know who they are. And so this is awesome. And plus, we already talked before we hit record, is, that's our next level of what we're doing with our clients, is doing retreats.
yeah,
And no better place than that to get the experience. And so anyways, look in the show notes, get on the wait list, because
Yes.
anytime we're doing something, it's going out. You're going to be the first to know. So if this is a place you feel like, man, we got to do this, I mean, get on our wait list. But sorry for the commercial break, but Marissa, continue. I mean, that's just, it's awesome.
I feel the same. So here's the thing. The whole reason that we're doing this is because the world has become so noisy.
Yeah.
You cannot even hear your own thoughts in your quiet house
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In your quiet, so you've got to get out of your space, and you've got to put yourself in a place that takes all of the distractions so that you can figure out what your direction is. And this is where I found my direction. I found it kneeling on a dirt floor, and really asking that question, what about that, God? What about now? Right? And what about
Mhm.
for us now? And what does that look like? And there's a larger story that goes with that, but the short of it is this: that's how I came to own a mountain. Was my footsteps were ordered there after a broken heart, and I was healed in this place that gave me a new vision for my life on what does a rich life look like. And I'm not talking about money, guys, because a lot of you on here are listening and you're going, yeah, we're taking names, kicking butts, bank accounts are building. Whoop, whoop, good for you. At the end of your life, I've done 33 years of estate planning, and I can guarantee you, you are not going to give a rat's bottom about what that bank account looks like in your last 5 days of life.
Mhm.
You're going
Yeah.
to talk to who you can. You're going to sit with them. You're going to want to hear every story. You're going to want to impart the wisdom. This is the stuff that creates a rich life. You being emotionally rich.
Yeah.
You being relationship rich. I'm watching you guys. I'm weirdly stalking you on Facebook, and I see you guys in all these different little adventures that you're doing. And one weekend you're skiing, and the next weekend you're like in a
Yeah.
Bali and
Italy.
something doing something. I'm like, my God, how do I get on their like wait list for fun? Like, I want to travel with these guys, right? But But you're living a rich life as business owners, as entrepreneurs together because you have harmony and balance in it. And I don't think we're just grinding just to grind. We're
Yeah.
doing it because we want to monetize our mission, our purpose, our vision, and our values. And so for me, a rich life is emotionally rich. It's relationship rich. When you walk in the door, does your mate look at you like you're the hero or the zero of their day?
It's good.
I want to be the
Mhm.
hero of my grandchildren, of my mate, of my children, of my friends. When I walk in the door, I want their face to light up like my 5-year-old grandson, Luca, looks at me with his madness that he is, like just full of energy. If you think I got energy, the kid will 10x and put you down. Like, put you out. Grandma is tired by the end of the day. But he walks in and he's like, "Yay, you're here. I've been waiting for you all day." I'm like,
Aw.
I've been gone for an hour and a half, buddy." He's like, "Whoa, it was forever. I was waiting." That's how I want every person who knows me best. And I want to have the same reception for them. So when my guy walks in the door, I go, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. I've been waiting all day to feel your touch. I've been waiting all day to give you this hug. I am so grateful." When we go on a walk, which we do every night, put the kids to bed, the grandbabies to bed, because we all live in my big fat Greek wedding house family here. We're all doing it, so it's just madness here. We do big family suppers multiple days a week. We do church on Sunday. We're doing our thing, and then we're doing a walk every night, me and him. And we get an hour and a half every night to walk and talk and hold hands and love on each other and find out really what's going on. Are you good? How'd you feel? Oh, that went good. That didn't go good. What do you love? What did you learn? We ask each other that question every day. Today, what did you love about today? What did you learn today? That came from a rich life for me.
Yeah.
Emotionally, relationally, spiritually, physically, and financially reflecting on these 5 core areas of my life. And I want that for every entrepreneur I meet. Practical, tactical ways to handle your money, your time, your energy, your relationships, and to build a life that's worthy of the calling you've received.
Yeah. So good. That's so good. So there's so many ways we can go with that, but like, what are some of the common mistakes that the average small business makes when it comes to investing for the future, or living a rich life, both, in all those core areas? I mean, you pick where you want to start, or just pick on one or more. What are some of
Yeah.
the common mistakes that they make?
I'd say in the business side, it's knowing what's the real target is, knowing what your real target is, having real clarity because you're grind it out. And there's 3 questions I ask when it comes to life. The first one is the what if question. It's the possibility question. What if? What if I did this? What if I took that path versus that path? Does this really get me what I want? Does that really get me to where I want to be? Like envision what does that look like? Because you create everything twice. You create it first in your mind and then you create it physically. You create when you leave here tonight or today as you're listening to this, you create the relationship you want to have when you go home tonight. In the very first thing that you say to your spouse or your mate or your children or whoever it is, your primary love people, your mom, your dad, whoever it is, you create it twice in the way that you greet them and the way you focus on the main thing. What's the main thing when you're with those people? In your business, it's the same thing. Your business exists to number one, all businesses exist to solve a problem and create a profit. Very simple. Solve a problem, create profit. If you aren't solving a problem or creating a profit, why are you in business? So then the mistake I would say is really having clarity on what you're willing to trade your life for, because every day you're trading for something. So many small business owners I meet with today, marriages, families, the world around them, their relationships are poor. They're in poverty because they don't have clarity about what does their rich life business look like. And so for me, a mistake there is first having real clarity and asking that question. It's the what if question. What if this happens? What does that look like? You want to be a speaker, for example, and you say, "Oh, I want to be a speaker and I want to be on these big stages. I want to be flying all around the world and blah, 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 blah," right? That's great. I've done that. And when you're gone for, you know, 40 weeks out of 52 this year, and then you realize you don't have a spouse and kids when you come home, the rich life is not the stage life. It's not. It's not. It's not being able to, you got to share that with somebody. So what does that look like? So what is it, ask the question, what am I trading for? And we're all trading for something with our time, our energy, and our money. The second question that I ask when it comes to that, which will help you avoid that mistake, is what for? What am I doing this for? You know, I talked to one of my coaching clients recently. He's a guy who's scaling his business, and he said, I said, well, what for? And he said, well, so that I can give my wife and my kids this. And I said, did they ask for that? And he said, well, no, but this would be really nice to give them. And I said, do you think with the extra 25 hours, the guy works 65 hours a week. He works
Mm.
every
Well,
day of the week, every day of the
Yeah.
week. I said, "Do you think your kids would rather have you or this?" And he said, "God, I hate you and you're fired and I love you so much." Right? I hate you, I love you, I'll see you next week, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "You know what, man? I'm asking that tough question because you're trading your life for something, and what's the what for here? What's the what for? Is there a yes and that you could do here? But you could do it more efficiently because you've got some systems, some structures and strategy in your day and in your business. So for the business owner, really having an important plan that looks at the what for and then not knowing your numbers is a massive issue. If you
Yeah.
don't know what's moving your needle, I talk about know your numbers all day long. And the last thing that I would share with you, a massive mistake, is cleaning out the clutter. We've got to clear out the clutter before you create something new, do something new, add a new product, add a new thing, add anything into your life. I don't care if
Mhm.
it's a vacation, it's a kid, it's a whatever you're adding to your life. You better clean out the clutter and assess your time, energy, and money for that space because the right thing cannot enter the space that the wrong thing is occupying.
Yeah. No, that's so good.
So that clean out the clutter when you're adding new as a business owner. We want to scale, we want to build, we want to grow, we want to do these things. But what got you here won't get you there. So you've got to have new practices, new ideas, new thinking partners. You've got to be with people that understand how to get you to where you want to go and grow. And and really it starts with answering 5 basic questions. And for me, they're really simple. Practical, tactical. If you're going to write anything down, if you write nothing else down in this whole time together, this is it. This is the one thing I want
Mhm.
you to write down. There are
Yeah.
5 core questions. Why? Why must we do it? What? What needs to be done? Who? Who can help me? How? How do I do it? And when? When do I do it? This is how I built 5 self-managing companies. I built it
Awesome.
off of why, what, who, how, when. Why must I do it? Why must this be a self-managing company? Because I needed to earn back my life.
Mhm.
This company solves a problem, so I need to keep that company in business. It has jobs for people. It has opportunities for others to pay their mortgage, live a good life. What needs to be done? I need to train leaders that can manage this company when
Mhm.
I'm not here, that can lead
Yeah.
this company when I'm not here.
Yeah.
Who are those people going to be? How will they do it when I'm not with them? And how will I keep in the game so I make sure it's still profitable? And when are we going to take action for all of those? That's just one quick framework. But
Yeah.
same words work across the board. It works in your marriage, it works in your relationships, it works in your spiritual life. Why must I spend time every day in prayer and meditation? Why? What do I need to do? Prayer and meditation looks like this. Who am I going to for my answers first? Do I go from everyone else on the world or do I go to my Father first? How am I doing that? I'm getting real focused on what I'm reading and what I'm applying. I take the SOAP methods: scripture, observation, application, prayer. Really
Mhm.
simple. I
Yeah.
clean up with some soap every day, baby. Soap every day.
Wash your
Soap,
mouth down.
real practical, right?
Yeah.
And then when do I do it? I do it every day. I use soap every day in my spiritual life. Every day.
That's so good. And also love, the decluttering piece. I don't think we can emphasize that enough because, we just fill our days and our calendars with stuff and we never take off stuff. And hence
Yeah.
the 65-hour work week, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how much of that stuff is not serving you at this moment, right? And so that is, I think, a key thing that you've got to do on a regular basis. We try to do it at least once a year. Like that's the big declutter, right? Like that spring cleaning the house. Well, we also got to look at our life and go, okay, what's not serving us well that we just don't do anymore, or at least pause it or whatever, because we need to make space for the new, but we don't want to just keep adding things without subtraction because otherwise our life is going to get just chaotic.
well, and sometimes the old things aren't a fit anymore. You're in a different season, you're in a different place, you know what I mean? And we don't wanna just do it just to do it. If it's not moving you forward and not where you need to be, then maybe we need to let go of it, and that could even be some good things, some things that you love. It's so easy for me to get sidetracked. Robert will be like he pulls up you know, our goals. And he's like, "Honey, does it align with that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I guess not," because I
Maybe.
can get I can get sidetracked and just off in no man's land because it's fun and and it's an adventure, but is it really getting me to where I wanna go?
That's right. That's so good. And it's so good because this is what I love about the work that you guys do. I love it so much because you are bringing couples back to alignment with what they're building together so that they don't grow apart.
Mhm. And
I love it. It's
I love your question to what
amazing.
for,
Yeah.
because, like, what are you doing it for? And
Mhm.
it just uncovered some of the assumptions of what he was doing it for without going, "Wait a second, do we know from the source, like, this is what they want?"
Yeah.
Because it's just the typical business owner, right? Or just high achiever where, we're cheap, we wanna make money so that we can give our family a better life, but we just assume things and money are the thing they want versus what they want is you. Right?
Yeah.
Your grandson was wants you.
Not read it. There's a beautiful uh like reading called Acres of Diamonds. If you just look it up on the internet, Google it when you're done, Acres of Diamonds. It's just stunning and it brings home this point that, we go looking for these acres of diamonds and what we realize is the acres of diamonds were right beneath our feet. They were
Mhm,
they were right here. And it's really interesting. I just told it. Spoiler alert, by the way. Sorry about that. Really good. And I think about, like, asking that question when you start thinking about cleaning out the clutter is it could be people.
mhm,
It could be
yep,
people as well. Like,
Mhm.
who are
mhm,
the anacondas in your life? And you said something really profound, Kaylee, when you said, you think about we might have outgrown this thing. Is the people I'm with today, are they the people I want to become? Now, I don't wanna say don't have your friends, right? But make sure your friends are growing friends. Make sure your friends are growing in their marriage. Make sure your friends are growing in their retreats. Make sure your friends are focused on, "We're doing things to be better together." Make sure your friends are whoever speaks into me, you become the 5 people you are most connected with. We know this. This is not just some coffee cup,
yeah,
junk. This is real stuff. Who you get around, what mindsets you pick up. I'm real careful who I spend any amount of significant time with. Very, very careful because I'm either going to pick up or brush off.
mhm,
I'm going to brush
right,
off something on them or I'm going to pick up something from them. And I want to make sure whatever I'm picking up or brushing off is what makes sense.
yeah, because you
And
don't want fleas.
you did. I don't want dandruff, baby. We are not going to have dandruff around here. Yeah. Good times. It's good times.
Awesome. So, last question, something practical. We wanna give a good takeaway for folks. What is the one thing they can do today to start building wealth? Well, just really start building a rich life. Like, what would be that one thing, maybe that starting point that, they should go with today?
I think the starting point is always the one thing you should be doing right now. If you're saying, "Hey, I'm focused on wealth build," very practical is to find out where are you now? Do an inventory today.
Mm,
Where am I now and where am I going? And then the stuff in the middle are the steps you take. And I talk a lot about those throughout the book, getting organized, getting a freedom team in place, building your freedom plan. Do you know what those 3 numbers are that go into your freedom plan? That's a very
mhm,
practical step. You
mhm,
wanna build wealth and you wanna be financially free and you wanna have a freedom plan. The freedom plan consists of 3 things. It's your freedom number, your freedom date, and your freedom sources. So when you think about that for your world, you wanna know those 3 numbers and what are they and how do they apply? If you wanna
yeah,
build real wealth and you want that wealth to go out, I always tell people, you want your money to go out into the marketplace and go make friends and bring them home,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so how you do that is you get really intentional on number 1, give every dollar a job. And number 2, know what that job is building you for. What for? The things I just talked about, the what if
mhm,
and the what for, and the third question was what's next. So it always ends with action. My why, what, who, how, when always ends with action. When will I take action? See, it's not just enough to learn. We must learn and then apply.
right,
And we must learn, apply, evaluate, and then unlearn, learn, and apply, and do that process again. So it's really a process of money when you're building wealth. Because I came from nothing. When I say nothing, nothing, like real nothing. Like
mhm,
single mom, 8 kids, single wide trailer, bright bad, like just real poor, real poor. Like you in our bathroom we had 2x4s, so you could walk from the beginning of the bathroom door, which wasn't very long because it's a trailer house, right? To over to the toilet, and you had to stand just specifically on the toilet, on the 2x4 right by the toilet, because the floor was so rotted that if you stepped in the wrong place, your foot would go through the rotted wood beneath the linoleum,
Jeez.
and you would fall through. My little brother fell through the linoleum
Jeez.
Oh, no.
into this little water pit, right? And and what I remember about walking the plank, we used to call it walking the plank, is I feel like people are walking the plank with their money every day, go a little to the left and a little to the right, and they're falling through. But when you have a real practical money plan, getting organized, knowing what you have, using what you've got, giving every dollar a job, creating your freedom plan, learning the questions about money that you want to know. How do I get this thing to make money for me? How do I get it to apply and multiply for me? Because it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep and multiply that matters. And there are 4 core ways to do that. The first one is, how do you make money? The second one is, how do you keep money? How do you fire the worst business partner ever? The third one is, how do you multiply that money? And then the last of those 4 core things is, how do you pass it on with purpose? Just really practically. And those are all things that I cover in the book, so that you actually have a plan when you're done with this book. You say, you know what? I can apply this. Now, I think the mistake with books is this: people go through a book and they start that book at, chapter 1, and they go all the way through. And most of the time they don't get all the way through, and they miss what was the meat. Here's what I'd like you to do with this book. If you're going to pick up this book, if you're going to go buy it wherever you're buying it at, my website, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, wherever you're going, open up the table of contents. Let's be really practical here. Open up the contents and look at the table of contents and say, what do I need to know right now? And it's how I read. I literally read a book every week. I do a book every single week, and I've done it for 15 years. Now, I do Audible for my books because I listen to my books today, but I go directly to that chapter and find out, what did I need to know? What do I need to learn? And what do I need to do? That's the question I'm asking when I'm open up that table of contents for any book. What do I need to know? What do I need to learn? And what do I need to do? So you asked about practical steps. I gave you a whole bunch there, but that's how I'd use this. That's how I'd
Yeah.
use this, because it could be different things for different people that are listening in the room. So I want you to get the thing that's worth that one piece of advice that I gave you. I've coached people for 30 years,
Yeah.
run multiple businesses. That one piece of advice was given to me by an old guy named Al Eckert 40 years ago. And it has brought me more wealth than you could ever imagine, because I've picked up, for the cost of $25, one book
Mhm.
could make me $1,000, could make me $10,000, could make me $100,000. If one book could do that, and money is for everyone, we
Mhm.
all have to learn how to make it, keep it, multiply it, and pass it with purpose. We all have that same kind of conversation, because currency is everywhere in every country. I've spoken in 15 countries today, and every country I speak to, currency is an issue everywhere. Finance is an issue everywhere.
Yeah.
So do you listen to the whole book, or do you just listen to that chapter that you think
I
pertains
listen
to you?
Initially, I listen to the chapter and I say, what do I need to learn and apply here? And then I'll go back and listen to the whole book. But I'll do it fast. I'll do it like on 1.5, literally. Like 1.5. I'll listen to every book. You all sound like Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse on my book. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like the Chipmunks. You have hit Chipmunks opportunity. Like, Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's what I'm listening to. But I get what I need, and then I go back and say, what's the fillers? What's the extra that can add much value? Right.
Yeah.
But I don't also do nonfictions. I don't do a lot of storybook type stuff. I'm doing really practical, really tactical, business, finance, spiritual. I'm doing those kind of books. So it depends on
Yeah.
the book. But if it's anything like this type of book where it's a yes and, I go to the section of, what do I need to learn most about right now? What would
Yeah.
really solve my problem? What would move my needle today, baby?
Yeah. So that's so good. So okay. So start with doing that financial assessment. What do you need to do? What do you need to fix? And then go grab liveliferichbook.com. That's the website.
Yep. Life Rich
And
book.
look through the chapters, because I could say, because I've read the book, that every chapter is rich. And yeah, if you just pick up one thing and just really meditated and just really, really digested that and applied it, yeah, you're going to do better, right? It's just that one thing, and then probably go back to it and do everything else. Because if you do it in full, then of course you'll have a rich life. But Marissa, thank you so much for coming back on. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun as always. And we've got all the other links in the show notes, how you follow her on social, and definitely follow her. So thanks again, Marissa, for coming on.
I'm so excited to be with you guys again. Cannot wait. I don't know how I get on those couples retreats, but let me tell you, I know I better
get on the wait list.
I'm on your email list. So I'm going to go to Danielle and be like, hey, can you make sure that when these things show up, you get my name out there? Like, that's my assistant, Danielle. So, when you start getting stalked by Danielle, that was your fault, guys. It was your fault.
Well, we'll make sure we keep you on the list. So
Yes.
We'll notify you. But I know you've been blessed by this. So go ahead and share this with another married entrepreneur who needs to hear this so they can live life rich as well. And until next week, God bless.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Thriving in Tandem podcast. Please visit our website, marriedentrepreneur.co, for a variety of free resources to help your marriage and business succeed.
And feel free to leave us a review and share this episode with another married entrepreneur. That would mean so much to us.
See you next week.